Okay, can you guys hear me now? There we go. Good evening, everybody. That's a little better. Sorry, I was like, somehow I was connected to the wrong speaker. Or the wrong mic, I mean. But I figured that out really quick. That was good. Hey, everybody. See a lot of people in here. Always a good thing. Always a good thing. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Hopefully Glowbug is going to have a better day. I am so sorry to hear about your friend's mom. There's an echo. Oh, maybe it shouldn't be an echo now because I have the system or the mic on now. Let me know if it's any better. It should be. When I first came on, I think I was in the MacBook speakers on accident. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. If it is still echoing, let me know, but it shouldn't be. But thank you guys for joining me this evening. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to tonight's live where we talk all things true crime here. And we talk a little bit about everything, actually. I shouldn't just say true crime only because we talk everything here. We are trying to get to 10,000 Titans subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you appreciate tonight's case coverage, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Don't forget to like the video. That always sends it out into the algorithm. And I hate to have to ask you guys a bunch of times because I was watching another live earlier and the person was asking so much. I was like, Lord have mercy. Like every time I fast forward, it was the same thing. I was like, Lord have mercy. But they weren't very nice about it. They were like kind of mean about it. I was like, dang, that's one way to get people to like it. Oh, Fred had 2 windows open. He had his own echo going. His own echo chamber was going there. Because I thought when I first came on, I was in the MacBook speakers. So I thought, maybe I was echoing. If you'd like to join our channel membership, which a lot of us already have, it looks like, I'll put that in the chat if anyone would like to do that. Before we get started, get those likes up. I'll bring up a couple new cases that we're going to be covering. Well, one of the cases we're already covering and we're going to go back to covering it. And then a couple new ones. And so if you guys have any cases that you want me to cover, let me know. Let me start my camera. There I am. Let me start my camera. I haven't even started my camera. So yeah, if there's any cases you want me to cover, let me know. I will do my best to do that for you guys. One of you guys asked me the other day to look at, her name is Madeline, and I'm going to probably pronounce her last name wrong, but it's called like Pantoja, Madeline, Pantoja. She's from Midland, Texas. She's missing. I was one of you guys that was a member because it was in our members live and it was in the chat. So I can't remember, but I was going to do it last night. And then I was like, no, yeah, I'm sunburned a little bit. Yeah, thank you. I know makeup, but I'm a little sunburnt. But I was going to do it. Was it tonight or last night? I think it was last night. But then it was tonight. But I didn't get to like go through the whole case like I wanted to before I present it to you guys. So I'm going to do that one I think on Sunday. So because it's very, very interesting. And I didn't want to I wanted to give it as, much attention as we give the other cases. There's Eddie with the super sticker. Love you for that, Eddie. Good evening. And Summer got back over that bridge. You sent me a picture of a terrifying bridge earlier. And I was like, is that from South Carolina? Because no, I have a paddle boat on the side. She sent me a picture of a bridge over water. I don't do that. I can't do water. I can't do bridges. I can do water. I just can't do bridges, and I can't do bridges over water. I don't like that. But I want to go over her case, Madeline. Very beautiful girl out of, like I said, Midland, Texas. Nancy Grace actually covered it, which I was surprised when I was looking for, videos. So I was like, oh, wow. So we'll get into that case in the next couple of days. Also, we're going to go backwards in time to the Oklahoma massacre. We did a couple lives on it, and a bunch more stuff's come out since we've done our lives, so we'll touch back on that. Monday, we have Brian's going to court. So if we see him for 2 seconds or if we see him for 2 years, I don't care. I'll be tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Because, I just have to see what he looks like. I got to see if he's bigger, smaller, if the vegan meal's doing him well, if it's not, if they're catering to that, you never know. You can't do bridges over, me either. Well, Teresa, where she lives, that's all it is bridges over water. She lives in Florida. I feel like there's so many bridges of water. But that one that Summer sent me today, that was that wasn't like a straight bridge. It was like, it was scary. It was a scary looking bridge. I was like, I'm cool. I'm cool on that. So hello to everybody coming in. If you guys can't tell, I got beat up by my dogs also yesterday. So it's been a great couple of days for me. And my dog is still not feeling good. So if you guys could say a little prayer for Arraignment, my doggie. I don't know what's going on with her belly. But we switched out everything tonight. We went back to the food that she had before, because it started when we switched her food. We got her new food bowl, new water bowl, new water. Like, we usually just get out of our spigot, but we just were like, nope. What else? We got her new toy to play with while to chew apart. So if you guys pray or, whatever you guys do, voodoo, whatever it is, do something cool for my dog. Give all the good energy to my dog. Because I just don't like her not feeling good. I had to take her downstairs like 14 times today. It's been bad. But Vincent's off. It's the weekend. That's the only part of, and I'm with you guys now. I'm okay. I don't have to worry about her because I know she's not by herself. And she's acting fine when he's around. He comes home and she's jumping on up and she's smiling, looking like she's smiling. But when I'm here, she just looks so depressed and sad, and she's having like bowel problems. She's like 8.5, so she's not that old, but her eyes look old. Her eyes looked like it, like she just looked so unhappy. But then Vincent came home today and she seemed fine, so we'll see. I'm just like, for real, doggy, don't do this to me, because she's my baby. That's my baby. Hey, Chosen Rosen. Thank you. I appreciate that. Pantoja. I think I was close. Wasn't I? Pantoja. I even had it spelled out. I'm like, I'm not good with the names. I'm really not. But Nancy's going to be good. What? Glenn? Is Glenn in here? I didn't see him. I saw Legendary. Thank you guys. Yeah, and I think her sister knows too, because Mia has been messing with her too much. So, that when one is like, and it's not like she wants to be by herself or anything. She's cool, but like, I don't know. I think it was right when we switched her food, and I know that's probably what it is, because it has to be. But it's just been like 4 days, and I'm just like, oh my Lord. 3 days, I think, maybe. I don't know if applesauce is good for dogs. That's a good question. I'm about to give her some Pepto. Unseen Thinkers Life is Glenn. I'm like, I saw you in the chat. I'm like, I was looking, I'm like, who is that in the chat? But I just thought it was someone that got gifted a membership. Oh yeah, Justice, I saw that. It is Glenn, yeah. Okay, I'll get there. I forgot Justice was in here. That's what I was going to do, chicken and rice. So we had her on, for the longest time we had her on the food from Sam's Club, like the members mark or whatever it's called. And then we switched them and we switched to Blue because they ran out of her food, or they ran out of their food. And they always did really good on it. Never, no problem. We switched them. They had no problem switching. When we switched her back over to the lamb or whatever it was, I think he got her lamb. It's just been, ever since, it's just been bad. So I'm hoping, we went right back to the Blue. I'm hoping that she'll eat a little food tonight. And if she doesn't eat, I'm going to put some peanut butter in her food tomorrow morning or tonight when I get off here. If she doesn't, so give her some rice water. I can make some rice water. You can make it for your hair. Chicken and rice. Yeah, that's what, Arlene, that's what my mom would tell me to do. chicken and rice and some bread and stuff. That's because when we had that dog food scare, that's what we did. That's what we did. When that was like way back when, I was early 2000s, when all the dog food was taken off the shelves. People weren't buying it. It was like contaminated. Something was contaminated in something. I just remember my mom like was cooking on all 4 burners, and my dad would come home from work and he'd be like, "It smells so good," like all the time. And she's like, "It's not for you. This one's for the dogs. You're later," because she always cooked for the dogs. She was sick for a week and then she was good. I know she'll be fine. I get worried. I always think the worst, because I'm like always trying to be prepared for the worst. Let me put my banner up here to welcome you guys. And we'll go ahead and get into it. So tomorrow I'm going to stream, or actually, I wanted to get through the cases first. And well, actually, we'll go back to this. We'll go back to the case after I go through this. I was going to stream Dateline tonight, but when me and Vincent went back through and checked my videos, Dateline was the one that actually came at me hard. They were the only one. We did 48 hours, 2020 in Dateline. And I remember, so I was thinking it was the 48-hour one. I was thinking it was 2020. Even Vincent came in here and he sat down and he was looking through all my videos. And he was like, I think we watched the Dateline one. He's like, because that guy's voice, Keith Morrison, he didn't know who he was, but he remembered his voice. So I said, well, then we must have watched it if you remember his voice, because Vincent doesn't watch Dateline like that. But it was when we were watching it, it cut the stream off. I think it cut the stream completely off. So what I can do is for the people, because a lot of people don't get the stations in their country. That's a big thing. So I'm going to stream it tomorrow when they put it out on YouTube. And then if they copyright me, they can copyright me all day. That's nothing. I don't want them to strike me, because then if you get 3 strikes, you're out of YouTube ball game. You're out of the ball game. But I'm good. I don't have any strikes, but I don't want any. I want to be on a good girl list. So, and you know me, I normally will push it. So, but I pushed it with them before. That's why. So that's why I know. Keith Morrison is life. I love him. I love his look. I loved my thumbnail tonight. Oh, Dateline will get you. They got me last time. That's who it was, Avery. I looked at my videos, because I stream News Nation, News Nation. We've done 2020, we've done 48 hours. We've done ID channel, I think, on here before. We've done Hulu. We've done a Roku documentary on Idaho 4 on this channel. And we do Nancy all the time. And I never get hit. Even if they hit me with like a copyright, like every once in a while, like Nancy will try to get me with the copyright. And I'll just dispute it. And then 2 seconds, it comes right back and it's like, released, you're fine, sorry. You took our whole video, but we love you for it. Or I don't know why they're really nice about it. Yeah, Dateline, they will get me. But we will watch it. And I'm waiting on it to watch it with you guys, because I'm not watching it either. I'm like, because it's on, I'm like, oh. But I mean, I think but I did find some good stuff for us to watch and to discuss, because I was like, what am I going to do? Because I had, 15 different things planned, because I always have a backup. So your girl always has a backup. Sometimes you guys give me my content if I just get on here. That happens a lot. We will be I swear every time we're in a live, something happens. Like that's when something happens. Kohberger got arrested. We were doing that was a morning live too, like out of nowhere, like 9 a.m. or something. I don't even remember. It was so early. You guys flew in with that. And then something else, some other stuff's come out, and you guys just come in here with it, with all the tea. You're like, here it is. Even Jana came up on the panel when the 166 documents came out. She showed me how to find them. I was like, I love you guys. We work with each other here. Hello, I'm faithful. No, I haven't, Avery. 10-year-old boy weighing 36 pounds. No, but speaking of other cases I was going to cover, you got my attention back to that. Because I want to go back and cover the Oklahoma massacre like we've been covering it, but a lot more stuff's come out. And also Nookie, one of our girls that's in our chat normally, she has a lot of insider information because she's from the area. And so I'm going to bring her up on panel with me. And we are going to, we'll talk about it one day next week. So I think that'll be good. So I'm going to stream it tomorrow. If it's, because it usually drops right in the morning. And as soon as it like comes out, then we'll be able to. Because then I can pause it and give it that little bit of pause it needs too. Because that's what they get you. They get you for the background music, guys. Like so when someone's talking, and like they play like the melodramatic background music that no one knows who sings that. That's what they get you for. It's those little clips of those little background music. So thanks, Arlene, for hanging out with us and recording it. What a champion. And then we're going to go over another new case, Alexi Treviso. Man, they're all the names are going to get me. She's the 19-year-old girl. I don't know if you've heard about this, but she went to the hospital with back pain, was in full labor, went to the bathroom and threw her baby away, and then went back to her hospital bed with her mom standing there like it was nothing. So that's another case we'll cover. So it's a lot. And then I don't remember the case because I literally just saw it right before I came on live. But there's even another case, I guess, of another girl that disposed of her newborn in the woods. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one. I just saw it on my For You page. I didn't even catch the name before I came on live. And I'm just like, I was like, wow, like what is going on with these teenagers and the babies? Because it was another teen or young adult. And some people can't have children and they want to. So if Kohberger gets convicted, is all that drug money in Pullman and Moscow and Boise going to dry up? Of course not. It'll be business as usual. Well, I mean, if the drug money dried up in Pullman, Moscow, no. I don't know. They'll find other ways to make money. Going to those jobs they have. She buried her in the woods. Is that what it was, Summer? I thought that's what it was. I knew she put her in the woods. I didn't know if she buried her. Wow. It's sick. It's sick. I can't even. What the frick is wrong with people? And then we got cases coming up. I had to write these down because I probably forgot a couple, but we have cases that are going to trial. We have Sarah Boone. If you don't know her, she's the lovely girlfriend of a guy that she stuffed her boyfriend in a suitcase, videotaped it, and went to bed, and he died in the suitcase. Richard Allen, Delphi murders. He'll be going to trial on, I think, the 15th of June for Abby and Libby's murders. Diana Kojikari and Christopher Potmelder, they'll be going to court again for Madalena Kojikari's disappearance, and Leilani Simon for the murder of her son. So we still have cases, even if Bryan's case gets pushed out until like whenever crime doesn't take a day off. I feel like it's getting worse. I feel like it's getting a lot worse. Richard Allen does look like death, and I'm going to do a video about him and Bryan Kohberger and the differences in them, because there's a lot of differences in the way that they're catering, like not catering. I don't want to say that, like to Bryan's needs compared to, what we've seen in the Delphi case. I'm not saying, because they're both supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but Richard Allen looks like he's on death's door. If we can't get him to the courthouse, we can't prosecute him. Like, I showed Vincent a picture last night, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, and both of those people are placed at the scene of those crimes by telephone or by their telling the cops they were there. And they both have a single source of like DNA or a single source of like something at the scene that we know of that's putting them there. Bryan Kohberger, the sheath, Delphi, the bullet casing, the unspent bullet. To me, it's not similar, but it's almost similar. And then the way that you see them, you're just like, whoa. They moved them. They did move them, Jan. Oh, thank goodness. I never thought I would say that. but I've been following this case since 2016. I want to make sure that they have the right person. They put them the right way for a very, very, very long time. Had a perfect carry-on boyfriend. She blew it. I know, right? And then she was out there drinking out of this water spigot on camera. Oh my gosh. How's your wife doing? I know. I forgot about Sarah Boone for a minute until tonight. Well, I didn't forget about her, but we've just been dealing with other cases. We had Lori, Letitia. We were doing Boone and Letitia at the same time. But then Letitia went to trial and Sarah didn't. So now she's going to be back. But I did find us a couple of things to go over tonight. I want to go over this. I thought this was actually pretty interesting. It's News Nation's. Okay, this girl here, I can't say her name. Let me pull this. She has a funny face on. She has such a funny face. This girl right here, this lady, remember her free agent? Free agent. She had that free agent hat on. 15 years she's been a free agent. Nobody owns her. Guess who just signed with News Nation? Look, you're looking at their criminal defense attorney and legal analyst. The last time she did a live, her hat said free agent. I guess she got what she wanted. I just thought that was so funny. Thought that was really funny. Not good. You gotta have a DNR? Talk with the doctor today. 6%? How do they even give you a percentage when it's that low? That's so, I'm sorry, honey. I would just like it, man, I wish I could take your pain away from you guys. That really sucks. How do they even go, like, I couldn't be a doctor. I couldn't because of the tough decisions they have to make like those. Telling somebody their kidney has 6% functioning. I just can't even get to that. But she's got you and she's going to be doing she's going to do good. She's going to be okay. No, I didn't. But I'll find it. Sarah Boone's letter. I don't think. Let me just write it down just so I can. We're going to have to do a live on her again because she's something else. So this lady here, I have a love-hate relationship with her. Her name's Sarah something. Sarah Sydney. Let me look. I can't remember her name. Sarah Azari. I'm probably saying that wrong. I hope I'm not. If I am, I'm sorry, Sarah Azari. But she is a defense attorney. So when you listen to her talk, you have to take it with a grain of salt in a way because she is a little biased because she's a defense attorney. I mean, just if you had a prosecuting attorney there, they're usually a little biased for the prosecution. Just like if you get, what's his name? Margaret Garagos on there. You can't talk him out of his own. If he has his mind made up, you're not talking him out of it. So, hey, Nikki, we're just talking about you. I said I wanted to do a live and have you come up. Why he got in the suitcase to me? I think he got in the suitcase as a game. I think it started out that way. I think she got in first and was like, no, you try. I think she made it to where it looks safe. Like, cause she's like, oh, I got in it. Like, or something along those lines. I could see people being stupid and being like, can you fit in there? I bet you can't fit in there. Let's try it. Like, I mean, I could see that part of it. I just can't see the part of you not letting him out of the suitcase or zipping it up all the way. I don't understand why, and I don't understand this either. Why don't suitcases have a double zipper? Double zipper. Like, they should have those. Just in case a child. I mean, I know a child probably couldn't work a zipper, but what if they could? What if a child were to get into one? I don't know. They were super drunk too. Yeah, Nikki. I think it started as a game in a way, and then she was like, well, I got him in there, fuck it. And then she's like, he's in there, so we're just going to stick with it. So this actually came out on News Nation the other day when the secret indictment came out on Bryan Kohberger, and she went on and she did like a question Q&A, and I actually found some of this stuff really interesting. And then I also found this other video from Courttv that they just did a little bit ago. analyzing Bryan Kohberger's body language. I watched half of it, and I was really interested in that. I was like, oh, this is so good. And then I was like, well, I got to get my live. So I have this. Most do. Oh, do they, Margot? Because I was looking at mine, and but mine's not the greatest. Mine's like older. And I think Vincent's has it. Because you would think they need to have them on the inside. Like, that's just crazy. I thought that they had them, so I thought they did. So okay, we'll talk through this too. This I thought was pretty interesting, but like I said, take it with a grain of salt. She's going to kind of be on the I feel like she's on the defensive side a little bit, but I mean, you know, people could probably say I'm on the prosecution side a little bit. So to his or own.
A live stream on News Nation, your number one go-to cable news station. I'm very excited to join all of you today because.
Oh yeah, just to warn you, you're going to see a whole lot of her mouth in this. Like a whole lot of it. Like, I don't know, maybe in their next video, they'll tell her to move back from the camera a little bit, but she's kind of really close. I feel like I'm not that close.
Because there's been a lot of questions on the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case. There's been questions ranging from the gag order, which is coming up for hearing, I believe, on May 22nd, or scheduling hearing. And then there's been a lot of questions on the discovery noncompliance by the prosecution. And of course, today, the big news is that Bryan Kohberger is indicted. I am a criminal trial attorney of coming up on almost 2 decades, 20 years. I'm old. And I'm also a legal analyst for News Nation. I recently joined News Nation. I've been on media for, you know, all platforms for about 15 years. But it's really wonderful to join this wonderful family of amazing veteran journalists and reporters, and the platform and the News Nation all over is just so dedicated to the coverage of crime stories. And you know, Ashley Banfield today broke the news that Bryan Kohberger has been indicted by a grand jury. So there's a lot of questions about why did the prosecution do this now? Why didn't they do it before? Why did they do it at all? And so I'm here to really get all of your questions answered. And I know some of what the questions are, but I'm looking forward to hearing from you, interacting with me during this live, and I hope that I can get some of these questions answered for all of you. So I think we could first go to the latest, which is the indictment. So Bryan Kohberger was initially charged by complaint for the brutal murders of these 4 Idaho students. He's been charged in Latah County, and there's also a burglary charge, which is the least of his worries, but it's really insurance for the prosecution. And I kept saying, why did the prosecution not move forward to the grand jury indictment? Because it's really, this case is prime for indictment. It has been. The idea is that when you have a highly circumstantial case with some questionable evidence, the DNA has been questionable. You know, the cell tower pinging with the triangulation issues has been questionable. There's been a lot of sort of dots to connect. And this is a case that's perfect for grand jury indictment, because the idea is that the prosecution does not want the defense to have the opportunity to poke holes in its case and witness testimony that comes up in a preliminary hearing. So again, a preliminary hearing is to establish probable cause that a defendant there's enough probable cause for the defendant to stand trial, essentially. And at that preliminary hearing, which was initially scheduled for June 26th, we would then hear from the defense. We wouldn't hear because there's a gag order, but the defense would essentially participate in that. They could bring their own witnesses to impeach prosecution witnesses or refute their case. They would also heavily challenge and cross-examine all of the evidence that the prosecution would put on. Well, with a grand jury, it's very different. It's a secret proceeding. Bryan Kohberger does not get notice that it's happening. He gets notice afterwards that he's been indicted, and he can go pick up his transcript, right? That's what happens in all my grand jury cases. And so there's zero participation by the defense. But what's really important, and what I've seen all over Twitter this morning, is about this idea of exculpatory evidence, right? Exculpatory evidence must be presented to a grand jury. So even though this is a very sort of one-sided proceeding where you only have the prosecutor, the judge, the 12 jurors, the grand jurors, in the room with a court reporter, right? You have to still represent the evidence that is perhaps favorable to the defense, that might be, exculpatory to them. You can't just go in there with all the receipts and the incriminating evidence. And so this is a very interesting timing, because there has been a lot of back and forth about discovery outstanding to the defense, and this idea that the defense is pounding the table saying, there's exculpatory evidence that you owe us that you have not given us. Where is it? And so I think the prosecution went ahead with this grand jury ahead of the preliminary hearing now, so that in case there's any leaks or anything, that the grand jury would be the first to essentially hear all of this evidence. So again, very interesting timing. And I'm wondering what your questions are about the indictment. So I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't see that good from this distance. But Matthew is.
I'm just going to pause it for a second and say this, because if there was any evidence out there that the defense knew about that could get Bryan Kohberger out of jail today and home today, or out of jail in the next couple of days, or whatever it may be, they would have already been at the police station, sitting there. Lawyers would be sitting there like this, waiting for a cop to listen to their evidence. They wouldn't just let the dude sit in jail for 6 months, waiting on them to decide if they're going to do a grand jury or if they're going to do a preliminary hearing. His lawyers knew more than that. They knew better than that. Because I have heard that a lot of times that the defense will know when it happens, even though they don't have to be told, but they will sometimes know that it is coming down. So I don't know if it was as much of a surprise as a lot of people are making it be. So
asking, have we confirmed that the trial will be televised? We have not. Right now, there is a gag order in place, and I would imagine that this court wants to keep everything sort of really tight to the chest, and that the trial would not be televised, which of course just doesn't make it fun for the rest of us, right? We want to really hear what's happening. We just saw with Vallow, the trial was not televised, and we had to rely on great reporting, but still reporting and not really sort of seeing it for ourselves. And we don't know if that's going to be the case in Idaho. I just want to briefly address the gag order issues because it goes to Matthew's question. So, on February 6th, there was a coalition of media that filed a writ with the Idaho Supreme Court saying the gag order should be lifted. The media, the public has an interest in the incredible newsworthiness of the story. February 27th, the magistrate, the level at which Kohberger's case is now, magistrate court, delayed Gonsalves. That's one of the victims. The Gonsalves family had filed a motion pending the Supreme Court decision, essentially wanting this gag order modified so they could go give interviews, like on News Nation, for example. And so the magistrate delayed that because it sort of related to the same issue that the media raised in the Supreme Court. And then on April 24th, the Supreme Court said that everybody needs to first seek relief in the magistrate, the lower court, before we can issue a writ. Essentially what was being asked of the Supreme Court was a writ of mandate, lifting the gag order. So essentially that's sort of the procedural issue. And then on April 28th, the magistrate court set the Gonsalves motion for May 25th. And then on May 2nd, the media coalition came in and filed with the magistrate court as directed by the Supreme Court. And then on May 4th, the magistrate vacated that May 25th hearing and instead set it for a scheduling conference. So that's where we're at essentially now. And once this hearing gets set, at the hearing, we'll see whether this gag order is modified as to the Gonsalveses, whether it's modified or lifted altogether. The defense, of course, probably wants this in place. But I have to say this from my perspective as a defense attorney. Gag orders tend to benefit the prosecution. And that is because usually the leaks that occur are spun and disseminated in favor of the prosecution. And what that does to the defense is essentially the defense is bound by the gag order. They can't defend against those leaks, but yet those leaks happen. So it's interesting because there's been so much going on about this case that is rumor, that is not fact. And then there's analysis of the rumor. And so the gag order is very telling, I think, as to also whether this trial would be televised down the line. We have another question from Jalen on Facebook asking, when would we hear if they want a change of venue? I mean, look, I think they can make that motion at any time before trial, but they have to have good reason for it. And what I've always said about this case is I don't think there's any place in Idaho, in Washington, in the entire United States that is going to be a fair venue where both sides will get a fair trial, will get a fair jury that's not tainted. And this is just because the incredible national coverage of the story that I just think no place is a fair venue. And by the way, both sides have an interest in wanting a venue that provides a fair and unbiased jury that is untainted, because obviously from the defense side, we want the defendants to get a fair trial. The prosecution also wants the defendant to get a fair trial, because if not, it raises an appellate issue and it could potentially overturn a conviction. So it's an interest for both sides to have a venue that's fair. Where that is, I don't think in this case we have one. Let's see, are there any other questions? If we don't have any questions coming in, oh, Doug. Okay, hi, Doug from Facebook. Has the defendant acquired his own private defense? I imagine you mean private defense attorneys. No, in fact, recently there was a new attorney added to Ann Taylor's team who was specific to the death penalty issue. And there was a lot of criticism of her that, her old profile somewhere on the deep web says that she was a real estate attorney. Listen, I might have stuff out there that's so old that I don't get around to checking, let alone modifying. She, in fact, has a lot of experience, this new lawyer, in death penalty cases, specifically in the mitigation aspect. And that's very important to a death penalty trial, part of the trial, because it's about aggravating factors and mitigating factors and why the defendant should or should not get the death penalty. So she came in for a very specific purpose. I don't know if Kohberger at some point might hire private counsel. And if so, then all of these lawyers will go away. You don't get to keep one or two from the county and then bring in your private counsel. It's you either go private and you pay for it yourself, or you get the help of the county through court-appointed attorneys and private and public defenders. So we don't know yet, but he can certainly exercise his right to a lawyer of his own choice at any time before trial. We have someone on YouTube asks if the June 26th date is still in place. No, it's vacated. You don't get two bites at the apple, right? The prosecution gets one hearing at which it presents evidence of probable cause that the defendant should stand trial. Now, if they filed a complaint, which they did, a preliminary hearing would be set, which it was for June 26th, like this viewer said. And that's where both sides would get to participate, prosecution presenting evidence, defense poking holes and challenging the evidence. And then the judge would decide whether there's enough probable cause for the defendant, for Kohberger, to go to trial. But they decided they didn't want to do that for good reason, and they indicted by grand jury. So that grand jury determined that there was probable cause and that Bryan Kohberger should go to trial. So now that they have an indictment, that's it. We're now in the pretrial phase, and then we're going to get a trial date. They're not going to get to then get another bite at the apple at a preliminary hearing. I mean, I bet the defense would want that. I would want that, but they only get one shot, and they chose to go with the indictment. April from Facebook is asking, do you think that the trial could be in 2024 or 2025? God, that's always such a strange time estimate, right? Like, for example, with the Alec Murdaugh case, for those of you who followed that case, I was shocked that the trial went so, I mean, within less than a year, within like 6 months, the trial started. But that was a case where the evidence was so skim that I would also schedule it for an immediate trial, because I wouldn't want the prosecution to use more time, to be more prepared, to gather more evidence. Of course, things went south in that case for different reasons. But in Kohberger, there is like just tremendous amount. I mean, it's the evidence and the discovery is voluminous, even though all of it has not been turned over. Some of it is still being processed and then has to be produced. Multiple counties being involved in his investigation and arrest, and the FBI. It is a massive case in terms of evidence and a circumstantial case. So in a case like this, I would think that it's definitely not going to be 2023. If I were to, be a psychic here, probably going to be 2024, possible that it could be 2025, but definitely not this year. And it's really because of the tremendous amount of evidence that the prosecution, some of which has turned over, some they still owe, as we know from these discovery requests, and then the motion to compel that the defense recently filed. So the defense is saying, look, we don't even have what we need to then do our own independent investigation to be able to prepare for trial. So when you think about the totality of this, we still have evidence that's not processed according to the prosecution's responses. The prosecution then has to process and turn those items that are outstanding over. And then the defense needs to be able to do its own independent analysis, hire experts, go through the DNA analysis, go through the cell tower issues. And this is going to be a very heavily expert driven trial. There's going to be a battle of experts 100%. So when you put all this together, there's no way, now we're coming up, pretty soon, you blink of an eye, you're going to have Thanksgiving, you're going to have Christmas, that stuff all already, summer vacations, delays trials. And it's not happening this year, likely middle to end of next year, maybe into 2025. That's my guess. People are asking about what is happening on Monday. On Monday, Bryan Kohberger is going to appear in Latah County District Court, before the district court, and plead not guilty. It's his arraignment. So much like at the beginning of the case, he had to show up and plead not guilty to the complaint, he's going to plead not guilty to this indictment by grand jury. Now, it's really interesting. Whenever I see the headlines when a high-profile defendant gets arraigned, people say, "Oh my God, he pled not guilty, but he's so guilty. Why did he plead not guilty?" And it's like, the best way I can explain it is, well, you're throwing in the towel and you're done. There's no trial if you go in there and plead guilty. So it's a matter of it's as a matter of course, you're going to plead not guilty, and then you're going to have an opportunity to defend yourself against the charges. And then you either change your plea to guilty if you're taking a plea deal, which is not happening here, or you go to trial and then let the jury decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. But arraignment, you really always plead not guilty. So that's what we can expect on Monday. Are there any questions from viewers about the discovery battle that we've been seeing unfold? Apparently, the defense had made 3 formal requests for discovery from the prosecution, and they claimed that there's been non-compliance, essentially lots of items outstanding, and then they went ahead and filed a motion to compel, which is being heard, I believe, on May 22nd, I believe, 22nd or 25th. I'm confusing those. There's 2 court dates coming up. So the prosecution is saying, "Oh, we turned over 30,000 photos and 10,000, terabytes of whatever." They're going through quantity, and I always say it's not about quantity. It's about news of whatever you turned over. What is it? Does it respond to what the defendant is owed? Does it cover what you did in your investigation and what you need to turn over? Now, Rule 16 of the Idaho criminal rules governs discovery in Idaho. And basically, if you read this rule, which I sort of skimmed through, I don't practice in Idaho, but it says that exculpatory evidence is mandated to be turned over. In other words, the defense doesn't even have to ask for it. The prosecution has to turn it over. And then it goes on to say there's a slew of items that the prosecution has to turn over upon written request by the defense. So the defense is saying, we've been requesting, you're not giving it to us. It's a very interesting issue to me, because when I read through these requests and these responses by the prosecution, there are items that are baffling to me, like the notes that the officers took in their investigation. They're saying that we still need to review them before, and notes should not take that long. Notes should not take that long to copy, produce, review before you do that, because they're in real time. An officer does an investigation, does an interview, takes a statement.
Okay, so this broad's going to sit here. You're going to listen to her bitch about these cops taking notes and having to look back over their notes before they turn them into the defense. I would do the same thing because my notes are all over the place. You're not going to be able to tell what my notes say. They're notes for a reason. They are a cop's free hand. Can you imagine? Actually, we know what a cop's free hand looks like. Do you remember the 35, or what was it, 130 some things they took from Kohberger's residence? And the officer wrote it out and we couldn't read it halfway through it. So I think that if they didn't give them, I think that if they gave them these notes on January 5th when he went to court and they were like, oh, yep, here's all your evidence, they'd be bitching about that then. They'd say, oh my God, this was too fast. Too fast. Too fast, these notes were. But if it's me and I'm taking notes, my notes are all over the place. So, I would like to rewrite my notes out. That's what I would think. And I'm not trying to take up for officers or anything. I mean, I'm just thinking as a person that takes a lot of notes. I would just want to rewrite my notes out.
They make notes. And so why are they not turning that over? There was genealogy related to the DNA genealogy related to familial DNA they picked up from the trash bin in Pennsylvania outside the family home that I guess connected Bryan through his father, essentially, to the knife sheath. And so that, that has been questionable, although they're saying, we'll give it to you, maybe it's not relevant, but we need a protective order. And it tells me that maybe the company that did that analysis, because it's still relatively new science, is objecting to its production just because of the incredibly sort of intrusive nature of it. There's a lot of issues, and I think a lot of the items will be compelled to be produced, but the defense has to go to a hearing. They have to be heard by the judge, and the judge then has to decide, okay, what is it that you should be turning over now that you're going to trial? It's not even a prelim, like you're going to trial. The prosecution cannot decide what is relevant or not relevant for the defense. In other words, the prosecution can't make the call that, oh, yeah, we have this, but you don't really need it because it's not relevant. No, if you did an investigation based on certain evidence and you gathered evidence based on that investigation, you have an obligation to turn it over, especially now because you may not want to use it, but the defense may want to use it. So it is very interesting to me, you guys, this issue of exculpatory evidence that's been persistently asked for in these discovery requests by the defense, and this idea that now we have a grand jury indictment. Given the obligation that the prosecution has to present exculpatory evidence to a grand jury, I have to hope that they in fact did that, because in their responses, it sounds like they think they get to decide if something is relevant and exculpatory. So that's going to be, I anticipate, some feud over what is owed and whether or not it's disclosable because it's exculpatory. Someone on YouTube asks, would they take the death penalty off the table if he pleads guilty? That's certainly always a consideration and an incentive. I don't see it happening here. You've got 4 victims. This was a very, very brutal killing. And if the evidence checks out, and in fact, the prosecution meets its burden beyond a reasonable doubt that Bryan Kohberger was in fact the suspect who killed these 4 students in the way that he did, right? There are a lot of factors that would support the death penalty. Vulnerable victims, it was early in the morning, they were asleep, he basically was lying in wait and he had scoped the house. If all that evidence with the, cell phone pings and all that checks out, which is very problematic in every case, it's challengeable, but then that's tremendous evidence of guilt. And I don't see why the prosecution would ever take that off the table in a case like this. But certainly, and generally speaking, it is a consideration when the defendant tries to plead out, as opposed to waste the resources and time of the court and the county by going to trial. Carrie from YouTube asks if the grand jury proceedings are still secret. Can they be interviewed? No, it's a secret proceeding. We're not going to know who these jurors were. We're not going to really know, those intricate details that we would normally when we're in a courtroom. But the defense is absolutely entitled to the transcript. The transcript is not secret. There's a court reporter in that courtroom for a reason, and they will transcribe everything that is brought to the grand juror's attention, the direct examination of witnesses, any inquiry by the judge, any questions that the jurors might have, all of that would be transcribed, and that is not a secret. Now, whether the public will get it is a different story, again, because of the nature of these proceedings. But the only thing that's secret is the proceeding itself. Are there any other questions about the gag order, discovery battle, and this indictment today? And Monday's arraignment, of course. Does our producer think that I left some? Oh, do we know the motive? We don't. You know, there's been so much said about he's a psychopath. He hated girls. He was rejected. He's an incel. He's this, he's that. I mean, profiling galore, and not just by former FBI profilers who I have tremendous respect for, but just by very salacious reporting and the general public about how everything that he's done, from the way he reacted, upon his arrest to today, that he's a narcissist and he killed these girls because he really was after one of them, was connected with one of them on social media and sent something to her, even though she never responded. And so he hated her for not responding. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And I think we really need to take a breath and wait to know more. We have not seen any of this stuff to really be able to formulate that it was him and that, that he had the motive to do it or what the motive was. And I have to say this, as you all know, following different stories lately in the crime world, motive is not an element of murder. And so the prosecution never has to prove motive. But of course, every juror, every person wants to know why. That's the biggest question. That's the $1 million question. So of course, a jury down the road in Kohberger is going to want to know why this guy's going to this university in Washington. Of course, these towns are close. He's going back and forth, partying, whatever. He's part of the same sort of larger clique. But why any one of these girls, let alone all four, or the victims? Sorry, there was one male. That's a good question in this case, and I think the prosecution needs to have a motive in this case. But what that is, we just don't know, because there's just been so much BS circulating about this particular defendant. Do we expect to learn more before the trial? I think that's going to largely turn on this gag order ruling, right? We have to see what the magistrate court rules later this month on the gag order, or whenever the hearing is set, because I think it's set for scheduling initially. And from there, if then any of the parties move back to the Supreme Court in Idaho on the writ of mandate, we have to see what ultimately the highest ruling is on this gag order, because if it's modified and lifted, we're certainly going to know more factually as opposed to rumors, right, around this case. And that's really my hope. I'm a lawyer. I'm about the process. I'm about protecting people's constitutional rights, and nothing irks me more than when I hear lies and rumors and convictions in the court of public opinion. And so I do hope that we get to see more factually, and we get to be in the courtroom somewhere down the road. But I think what we'll learn is going to depend on this gag order, frankly. Anyway, I think I've hit on all the important points that I sort of have gathered from all of you on Twitter and on News Nation's page. And then, of course, those of you who are nice enough to tune in today and ask the questions live. I hope to do more of these with you. Please stay connected with me and News Nation, because we will bring you always the best reporting on all of these high-profile cases in the news that make headlines, and also
She loves News Nation now because that's where her place is. That's her spot. Every time I turn the camera on, I see my battle wound. Makes me feel like I've got like a new tattoo on my arm or something. It's definitely not. But it felt like one. It hurt so bad. Sorry, that was a little boring at first time, I just liked it because it gave us some more of like the legal part of it, if you guys had any questions about the process. But she is a defense attorney, so, I did say take it with a grain of salt in the beginning, because she just, if you're a defense attorney, you're going to be a little biased, I feel like, towards the defense. And if you're a prosecutor, it kind of goes that way. So I know, I paused on her face really well. So I think Summer's right. I think she does have a filter on. because I think I know what filter she's using. Because there's a filter that's out there like on Snapchat, and if I use it, Vincent says my face looks like it's pulled back. It's like pulled back like too much. Like he says my eyes look like more like his eyes, and he's Asian. He says my eyes look more like his. And I'm like, I don't see that. I think I look cute with the filter. But I'm like, great. I still use the filter, that I ain't gonna lie. No, I don't use it right now. I should. This camera has a filter on it. Don't have it on. But if I put a filter on and then I have makeup on, then it looks really bad. It looks like I have like a baby face. You could tell so much. But my mom has told me when I was young, just natural beauty, you know? Steve said she had nothing. I agree sometimes I agree with part of that. I think in the beginning she was doing good. Is Glowbug leaving us? Oh yeah. Oh, we're praying for your friend's mom. Man, I hate having to go to the hospital. I hate when people are at the hospital too. I gotta watch like half of this, and then like I was telling you guys on this other one, like I was telling you earlier, then I got on here, so I didn't get to watch the other half. But the first half was pretty interesting. I was like, oh, Vinny. Oh, Tanya teriyaki. That's funny. That's funny because that's like the only Asian food that I eat is teriyaki sauce and rice. Like chicken and rice with teriyaki sauce. That's all I eat. Vincent's like I feel so bad for him. Actually, oh my God, we should do an unboxing of the stuff that his mom sends him in the mail. You guys would love it. You guys would love it. It's like today the box was really light and I'm like, what is this? What could be in here? She sends it from California. Premium. I mean, like it's like $30 for postage. I'm like, what is in here? We'll get lemons. Sometimes it'll be a box full of lemons. Nothing else. Not a card. No, nothing. Just a box full of lemons. You just take them and you take your lemons that you have that are fake and you take the fake ones out and you put the real ones out. I love his mom. I love it. And then she sent, so this time the box was really light and I'm like, why is this so light? Because she'll send him like other foods too. Like, what is that stuff that he likes? I can't even think of it. A lot of people eat it that are like vegan. Tofu. I have enough tofu for a whole grocery store. And I am not lying. She sends them care packages. She does, Lisa. She does. And I love it. But I noticed today, and then of course I pointed it out to him and I shouldn't have done that, but my mouth. So his dad passed away a few years ago. And you know those your stickers you have with your spouse or whatever, it says your name and it has your address on it. Well, his always said his dad's name, Jim Florio, and then his parents' address. And today, when it was the first thing I noticed right on the box, it just said Florio. It didn't even have his mom's first name, which is Haru, so it's probably kind of hard to spell and pronounce for people. But I pointed out, I'm like, look, and I'm like, and then in my head, I'm going, Tanya, Tanya, don't do that to Vincent. You're addicted to lemons? I bet you, I bet your teeth are really white from salt. Like the lemons and salt. I should clean with them. That's a good idea too. She does send them. She sends them care packages and it's the best food. So this package was a lot like lighter and I'm like, what's in here? And he's like, oh, it's like these, I don't know what they are. Some crackers that he eats. They smell so bad, but he loves them. So I have like a little buffet in this little thing in the kitchen. It's like, I do like a little snack buffet for him when his mom sends him his snacks. So we'll have to do an unboxing because it's literally, you never know what she's going to send. She doesn't tell you she's sending a box. She doesn't tell you what she's sending. We went on a plane with pumpkins before. Pumpkins, y'all, from California. I didn't even know they all had pumpkins out there. To be truthful, really, I didn't know. I knew that they had pumpkins, but I didn't know it was like a thing where they were like all the time. Really? You like lemons that much? Oh, I don't know. But I might have to make some lemonade for him. Any kimchi? I don't know. I have to ask. She sends him some really good stuff, though, I guess. Not me, no. I think that there's going to be leaks too, Catherine. And what I'm scared of is okay, and Teresa's not in here, she's on her cruise, or she'd be saying this, she'd be preaching it right now. She'd say, y'all, this is going to be years from now. This trial is going to be years from now. Because that's what our other models say. And we're all like, Teresa, don't you dare say that to us. But I'm hoping it's not as long as they're saying. But, you have huge pumpkin fields around there, Roger. Where are you from? We plant them in Ohio. You plant them, I think, in June or July, and they come up in October. Like sprout or whatever. I don't know if they do. Sprout. We tried to grow pumpkins one time at my house. It didn't work. But I love pumpkin patches. I'm an October baby, so. But yeah, and a squash too. Pumpkins and squash. Can you imagine being stopped? They're checking your carry-ons. And they're like, you two, what's with the pumpkins? Last time it was 7 jars of peanut butter last year. Peanut butter? Who needs 7 jars of peanut butter? Oregon? Close enough. You're an October baby too, Avery? I could see that. I don't know why, but I could definitely see you being an October baby. What's the date? Mine's the 17th. I could see that. I don't know why, but I could feel that. We're awesome. Are you too legendary? You are an October baby? Nancy, the deer say your cantaloupe, watermelon, and pumpkins. Oh, but still, they're probably cute. 14th, see, we're even close to birthdays. So Vinny comes out and says, and I promise you, 10:38, 10:28. I'm like, I was gonna say that surely the year isn't, but the 28th, I was supposed to be a Halloween baby, but then I came early. And I love pumpkin seeds. I do like pumpkin seeds. The only thing pumpkin that I like. I'm not even like a pumpkin pie. You're December and your name's Summer. That's so funny. So Vinny on this new video they just put out, he was talking about how it's a possibility, and it is. And it's been my possibility in my little brain. You all know, if you've been with me since Idaho case first started, I've been stuck on that front door. And I feel like he entered that front door, and I think he might have exited that front door. That's just because it says that like when Dylan states in the PCA that Bryan walks towards the kitchen, she doesn't state that he actually goes out the back door. I've always ever since this case first started. So for anybody in the world of worlds, because I haven't heard anyone else talk about it, like Vinny, to give it a possibility, he was like, well, he could have came in the front door. I was like, well, could he have, Vinny? Well, is it a possibility, Vinny? But I thought it was kind of cute because, I've been stuck on it. So I might be 2 for 2 today with the Kohberger stuff. You're dyslexic? I'm totally dyslexic, legendary. 100%. 100%. Okay, so let's see what Vinny has to say, because I didn't get to watch some of this. We'll watch it together.
Another mass shooting. Another mass shooting. Turned out it wasn't. There were 4 victims, but it wasn't a shooting. And the more we started to dig into the facts and get more information from Idaho, the first question I think I had and a lot of people had was, well, okay, it wasn't a mass shooting. How do 4 people get murdered? How did they not get out? How many people were responsible for this? How did it happen? And then when we learned a little bit more about the timing, it's the middle of the night, some of it started to make some sense, that people are sleeping and, someone can sneak in and it can happen. Then when we thought again, 4 victims, why? Why this house? Why these 4 students? Was one of them being targeted and the others were just there? Was it everyone? Was it random? Was it someone they knew? All these questions surrounding the simple fact that it was 4 victims in this case. Then we all headed out to Idaho and we got to see the house where this all took place. Brutal murder scene. Every description that we've heard absolutely brutal what happened inside that house. And when you look at the scene, you're wondering, okay, you look at the house and there's different levels, different floors. And again, you go back to those questions. Okay, people on different floors. How did the killer get in there, right? How did the killer get in there? Were they let in? Did they know? Was it someone, again, someone they knew? They knew how to get in there? Was it a stranger who had been stalking everyone? And again, the brutality of it, you know, the knife, the stabbing, and the blood we saw oozing out of the side of the house, all of that made you think this was not an ordinary, not that any murder is ordinary, but there was something else going on here. Something else going on. And then you look at, okay, well, so what exactly happened? What happened inside that house? Who was murdered first? There's 4 victims. Where was everyone when they were murdered? Was anyone awake? Was there anyone else in the house? Did anyone see anything? And little by little, some of these facts have come out. We haven't gotten the whole story. We haven't gotten a super clear picture, but we have some idea. And we're going to go through some of that tonight. And the question behind all of this, of course, now that the accused killer has been arrested and will be tried, the question is, can prosecutors prove it? Based upon that evidence, can they bring it inside a courtroom and prove this case? Whether it's DNA, whether it's surveillance video, whether it's cell phone pings, whether it's a prior conduct, something that someone saw, something that someone said, all of that. And is there any connection between this accused killer and any of the victims, whether the victims knew about the contact or not? All these questions hopefully get answered inside a courtroom in front of a jury. And prosecutors need to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt to get that conviction. So tonight we're going to focus in on the scene of this murder to try to delve into some of those questions to see just how strong will this case be. And the reason we're doing this is because that preliminary hearing that was supposed to happen in public, where you would learn more of the evidence and witnesses would testify and be cross-examined, is not going to happen because the grand jury has indicted. And now we know that case will go to trial unless this defendant just pleads guilty to the charges, which we doubt. We doubt at this time. So Chanley Painter tonight takes us back to the scene of the crime, the investigation, to get a little more information about what we know about this accused killer the night of the murders.
The probable cause affidavit in the case against the accused killer of 4 University of Idaho students pieces together the movement.
I just wanted to have you guys perk up and listen to this part, which, I mean, I'm sure you guys are listening because it's actually very interesting. But this actually was helping me when they did the video and they went through the PCA and they, like, I don't know, this part just kind of helped put it in my head a little bit better in a way. And Vinny, I feel like Vinny's always looking down on you. Like his face is like, I think it's the hooded eyes or whatever they're called. Because that's what he looks like. He's always looking like he's mean. He's mad at you.
Of the suspect vehicle and coordinating cell phone location data beginning in the early morning hours of November 13th. At 2:42 a.m., the affidavit alleges that Bryan Kohberger's phone places him likely at his apartment on the WSU campus where he was a PhD student studying and teaching criminology. At 2:44 a.m., Kohberger's vehicle and cell phone are on the move. Police say his white Hyundai Elantra is spotted on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Nevada Street at Stadium Way. According to the affidavit, it was here in this area of the WSU campus where surveillance video and Kohberger's cell phone placed him here around 2:47 a.m. According to the affidavit, he spent several minutes in this area where he allegedly turned off his cell phone before heading out of town toward Moscow, Idaho. By 2:53 a.m., Kohberger's white Hyundai Elantra is observed heading in the direction of Moscow, Idaho. At 3:26 a.m., the affidavit then places Kohberger's vehicle, now in the town of Moscow, in this residential neighborhood on Indian Hills Drive. This happens to be a road directly overlooking the Moscow Police Department. The Elantra is picked up on surveillance video moving west past the 700 block of Indian Hills. At 3:28 a.m., video shows the vehicle on Steiner Avenue at Highway 95 as it made its way towards the King Road neighborhood where the victims lived. Then from 3:29 a.m. to 4:20 a.m., the suspect vehicle, the white Hyundai Elantra, is observed multiple times on video passing by 1122 King Road during the alleged time of the murders before being seen on video speeding away on Walinta Drive. The probable cause affidavit states that the car likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive, a road that eventually leads to Pullman, Washington. About 2 hours after he allegedly turned off his cell phone, police say Kohberger turned it back on here near Blaine, Idaho. It's about 10 to 15 minutes south of Moscow, a rural community off Highway 95, and it has its own cell tower. According to the affidavit, from 4:50 a.m. to 5:26 a.m., Kohberger's phone movements show him allegedly moving south towards Genesee, Idaho, and west towards Uniontown, Washington. Kohberger may have taken a well-known back road called Thorn Creek Road at this point in his route towards his apartment. These are all very isolated roads, but Thorn Creek Road is known to be even more desolate. Police allege Kohberger eventually made his drive back into Pullman, Washington from the quiet road of Johnson, where his vehicle was picked up on this security camera, the first time a camera captured his Hyundai after the murders were committed. By 5:30 a.m., police tracked the movements of Kohberger's cell phone and vehicle back to his apartment.
All right, we're going to take you inside the murder scene with our guest joining us tonight in Chicago, Illinois. Founder of Victims News Online and former private investigator Erica Morse is with us. And in Nashville, Tennessee, legal commentator, former Los Angeles deputy district attorney, podcaster, and YouTube host of The Emily Show, Emily D. Baker is back with us as well. Great to see you both. Thank you for joining me. Let's start and go through this house. There's 3 floors. Let's start on the first floor, that bottom level. Let's take a look. We have 2 views here, the front view of the home and the side view of the home. That's this bottom level. Inside now, we're going to take you inside that bottom level. You can see you've got the front door. You've got 1 bedroom on one side, another bedroom on the other. The stairs that go upstairs. Let me start, Erica Morse. Bethany, one of the roommates, who the defense wants to speak to and says may have exculpatory evidence, is in one of these bedrooms. What are your thoughts about what, if anything, that happened there on that first floor?
It's hard to tell, Vinny. This probable cause affidavit makes no sense in terms of why walk past that first floor up to that second floor. It just does. I don't understand it. I would understand that the defense would have some questions about this, because you would assume that everybody in that house would not have made it out alive. And so my problem in this affidavit is missing or skipping that bottom floor and going up to that second floor to begin this terror.
Emily, there was also a DoorDash delivery that we've heard about. And I'm wondering, does the DoorDash go to that door? What else is going on down there in that bottom level? What are your thoughts about what's happening down there? And what, if anything, that the roommate Bethany may be able to add to this to tell the jury and let them know what, if anything, she knows about what happened that night, that morning?
I think they're going to be really interested in timeline of when DoorDash got there, which door DoorDash came to, and if DoorDash getting there woke up Bethany, when she was home, when she went to bed, and that kind of information, because we don't know if the house was entered on the bottom floor or entered up above on the second floor, which exits outside to that back hill. So we don't know where the house was entered, but they're absolutely going to want to know what this roommate heard and when, and kind of start to put together that timeline a little bit more with DoorDash getting there. And that's going to all be tracked by the DoorDash app pretty closely.
Yeah, that is a significant part of the timeline because it's so close in time. Let's move up to that second floor. So let's take a look at the exterior of the house, the middle level, the second level. You look at it from where the cars park, it is the second level. You need to go up the stairs if you enter through the door with the wreath in that basement. But as Emily pointed out, if you climb up the hill on the side of the road, there's a sliding door entrance or exit that goes into the kitchen. Now, let's take a look at the floor plans of this main floor. You see where the patio is on the top right-hand side. You see where the kitchen is. That's, sliding door through the kitchen. And then on one side you have Dylan, and then on the other side you have Ethan and Xana. And Dylan, we know, Erica, is someone who apparently saw or allegedly saw the killer from her doorway. Significant. This, to me, there's so much happening here. And Ethan and Xana obviously are murdered on that main level. What are your thoughts, Erica, about what happened there on that main level?
And let's recall, Vinny, she didn't open that door once. She opened that door twice. Because she heard something. There was a statement, I'm going to help you. And then she kind of opened that door, and then she heard something else and opened it again. And that's when she saw this man in black. So I still, and I said this a few months ago, I really think that she was groggy. I think she, thought it was somebody else in the house. We did know that people were moving around. And I'm glad that Emily mentioned that part about the second floor, because with all of these rental services and real estate services, when you Google that address, floor plans are available online, virtual tours are available online. And we know that Bryan was at that house at least 12 times, according to those cell phone pings, prior to this gruesome set of murders. And as a criminology student, I think he would have studied that floor plan and just studied that entire floor plan extensively, because I don't think he wanted any surprises. I think he wanted to be in complete control of how things went down.
Emily Baker, your thoughts about that sliding door? We saw during the investigation, they were looking for fingerprints. There was dust. A lot of focus on that area.
And we've also seen video of when the police came for a noise complaint before these murders and came up to that sliding door. But I have to wonder, not just as it was pointed out, do you have these rental agreements and you can find stuff online, but the roommates were on TikTok. You can see what they're doing inside their homes based on their own social media posts. So how much Kohberger might have known about the inside of this property might be from the victims and their friends posting from inside the home. And that's all going to be gotten in the search warrants that we've seen for TikTok and other social media apps. But it's very interesting to me that there were 2 victims killed on this floor and 1 surviving. And it leaves more questions than answers as to why that is. Because after you kill 4 people in a house, how is that surviving roommate still in that bedroom on that floor?
Again, it doesn't make sense. And what order were the murders taking place? Did the killer start on the 3rd floor, then come down? Did he start on that 2nd floor and go up? Let's take a look at that 3rd floor. We'll look at the exterior first of the 3rd floor. And from the front, it's sort of set, you can see it's set back as you look at the side. It has sliding doors, but you'd have to be Spider-Man to enter that way because there is no stairwell from the outside that goes up to that deck. The room associated with that deck was the empty room because Maddie and Kaylee were found in the same room. And you can see where the deck is in the top right part off of bedroom number 2, but it's bedroom number 1 where Maddie and Kaylee were found dead. and you can see where the stairs are right in the middle. Emily, what are your thoughts about the order of this? Is there anything that would indicate one way or the other based upon all the evidence that we've seen and heard?
Well, unfortunately, Vinny, we haven't seen and heard a lot, and I was really hoping we would see more in the preliminary hearing. But what you mentioned earlier is how horrific of a crime scene this is, and I can only imagine there will be quite a lot of footprints through this home that will show at least somewhat of an order of whether footprints were seen only going down the stairs from the top floor after those killings, or whether you have footprints going up and down the stairs. And those are the things investigators are going to look for to try to put together a timeline on this, because the killings happened in such quick order that you're not going to get that timeline from the victims themselves. You're going to have to look at all of the other surrounding evidence. And I think that DoorDash delivery will help give a timeline on it, and then look to the footprints and the other blood evidence in the home.
All right, Emily D. Baker, Erica Morse, we're out of time for tonight, but obviously we are going to stay on this story and have you on time and time again for this and everything else that we're covering. Appreciate your time. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the accused killer before the murder speaking to police and after the murders speaking to police, and evaluate is there any difference. Plus, coming up next hour.
In Kern County, California, the Cal City.
I'm just gonna fast forward it through the commercials. But there was a verdict in the West trial today. They were guilty on one count, but not the other.
Hello, I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was behind you the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
It's really quite amazing how much interaction with police the accused killer in the Idaho students case had. That was some video about a month before the murders. And what I want to do is take a look at his interaction with police before the murders and after the murders with our guest joining me in Los Angeles, California. Forensic psychiatrist, no. Joining us in Alexandria, Virginia, body language expert, New York Times bestselling author of You Can't Lie to Me. That is Janine Driver. Janine, great to see you.
Nice to see you, Vinny.
All right, so we're going to do the before. We've got a couple clips before, then one clip after. This, again, is the accused killer. And again, one of the stories that and prosecutors are saying that he was in the area many times, sort of inferring that they believe he was, planning this thing out a little bit. So let's take a look first. This is a month before, stopped by the Washington State University police.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck like in their intersection, you have to make the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done? Just
You're not supposed to block an intersection like that in Washington. So just by you blocking the intersection, that's technically a ticketable violation. And then then you're running a red light. So it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go. Because a lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting and then turns and then you're blocking. So
yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn. So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through. Oh. Did you see that?
No.
I feel like right before I made the turn, there was someone who made a right. They didn't have their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Yeah, so I would just advise just don't enter the intersection until you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up and not.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation, because you're either going to back up into somebody or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be sitting in an intersection. There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so, where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
so even if you're kind of slightly there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines. Like there's one white line and there's another one. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when you don't, when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can find it for you. Yeah.
But,
1 second.
Okay, Janine, what did you see? What did you hear?
Now, to the everyday person, you might see this and say, hey, this is normal. This is how I would respond, possibly trying to build rapport to get out of a ticket and ask a lot of questions. There's a couple things here that we see in this clip, and I think we're going to carry one of them over to the next clip. One is a tongue protrusion, and I think we'll talk about it again in the next clip. He stuck his tongue out briefly. We'll talk about that. Just hang tight. But before that, when he talks about someone had stopped in front of him, he does this little micro expression, Vinny, and you at home, where his upper lip comes up, and he flashes his teeth. And this is something we saw Kato Kalin do on the stand, going back old school here with O.J. Simpson, when Marsha Clark was asking questions. Hey, isn't it true that you've got this book deal or there's some type of a deal? You're making money out of this case. And he does this snarl. When the upper lip comes up and we see the teeth like this is a combination between anger and disgust, and that equals scorn. So, and we have this tiny little sneak peek of scorn, which is very intriguing to what's to come a month later. The other thing I'd like to talk about here is his eyes open wide. Look right here. You're seeing the three whites, we call it in law enforcement, the inner part of the eye, the outer part, and underneath. If we look at Vinny's eyes right now and mine, you'll notice you don't see three whites of our eyes. This happens right here when we're under stress. You were just pulled over for a ticket. Makes sense, right? Fear or surprise. It usually indicates something is wrong. Again, pulled over for a ticket, probably scouting out the area here on the college campus. O.J. Simpson, going back to him, he did this in the civil case when he was shown a picture of himself wearing Bruno Megli shoes walking on a football field, when in the criminal case, he said he never owned those ugly shoes. Yet they all of a sudden show, according to him, he called them ugly, and with a swear word that I won't say here. And all of a sudden, the civil case, they're showing him a picture. You see OJ, look at the picture and look up, and you see those three whites. This is, something is wrong. I just got busted. Again, it could make sense for the ticket, but it hangs out. Look at this. This is hanging out the entire conversation, the three whites. He knows there's a problem here and trying to build that rapport to get out of it.
Okay, Janine, what we're going to do now, that was more of the video. We're going to go to the after one now. This is a video of a traffic stop after the murders. And interested to see if you notice any difference in the way he is, in what you see and what you hear. So let's watch.
Hello. How you doing? How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay, cool. Where are you headed?
Well, we're coming from WSU, and we're standing.
What's WSU?
University, basically. That is SWAT team and everything.
So we're, okay, I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University? Yeah. And you're going where? Oh.
We're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're slightly punchy because we drive for hours.
Hours, days.
Hours to drive. Well,
yeah.
Almost a day.
Okay. So what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
yeah, there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where?
This was
Interesting.
Well, it's horrifying because he's supposed to be university, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So y'all work at the university there?
I actually do work there.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
No, this happened about an hour and a half ago. They're still wrapping it up for investigating. I'm not sure there's two shooters because they did shoot somebody.
Let's see.
And then
You don't know about that actually. They were there, but shooting out of the window or something.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay? All right. Thank you.
Okay, I still can't get over the fact that when he's asked, where are you going? We're going to get some Thai food. You've got, I think he's got Washington State plates at this point. He's from Pennsylvania and he's in Indiana. Okay, that aside, Janine, what'd you see, what'd you hear?
All right, let's start with what I heard this time. So we make sure we get it in because I have the gift of gab, as you know. The producers usually tell me to wrap it up. Basically, these LY words, be very careful of those. Basically, we don't give raises the first year. That indicates sometimes you make an exception and you do give raises. I want to be the exception. I call these the wiggle words, usually, typically, normally. And he says, basically, this is what we did. That indicates to me, this LY particular here, this adverb, that there's something else he was doing. He uses the word actually 3 times. Actually, Vinny compares 2 different things. Let me do a quick test with you, Vinny. Did you buy the red car or the blue truck? Actually, I bought the red car. What are the other thing I'm comparing it to? Did you buy the red car or the blue truck?
Blue car, there's 2 choices.
Right. So this actually, is comparing 2 things. You buy the red car, the blue truck. I bought the red car. Actually, I bought the red car as opposed to the blue truck. When people throw in this actually where it doesn't belong, it's indicating he was really someplace else. Actually, what we were just doing was this. No, that's not what you were doing because we don't know. He's comparing it to something we don't know. If I was in law enforcement still, I would teach this officer to ask as opposed to what? Because he threw in that actually. Not only did he do it once, Vinny, and you at home, he said it 3 times. Normally, we can think there's an LY there. Normally, we can figure out what it is. Did you have fun at the party? Actually, I had a good time. Maybe they thought they weren't going to have a good time. But here, this is very suspicious. Now let's talk about body language. He's not breathing. Look at him. It's as if no air is coming into him. I'm even watching his throat. And this happens a lot with deception and high stress. People forget to breathe. We do see the 3 whites of the eyes right here. And he does this move that I did see earlier and didn't get to talk about, which is this tongue protrusion. This tongue out, this jutting of the tongue. This is someone's got caught and they made a mistake or getting away with something or deep concentration. If you've ever threaded a needle, imagine threading a needle. You've got the eye of the needle in front of you. You've got the thread. You stick out your tongue. So we've got this deep concentration, or he thinks he's getting away with something, or he just got caught. A lot happening right here. The fact he's not even breathing and he's so stiff. Now, looking away, I throw that away because he's on a busy road here. The everyday person is going to look to make sure that they're safe. So that behavior I'm going to ignore. But this lack of breathing, the wrinkled in the forehead right here is high stress. We didn't even see it in the first time, but we're seeing it here. And then, of course, this tongue protrusion. And the big one for me, the smoking gun, is the word actually. I wrote it down and did my little 3 tick marks. This is huge. And these LY words, if you go back to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, she loved the LY word, right? So be careful of listening to people closely, what they're saying. If someone says, typically we can't give raises in the first year, you might be able to get yourself a raise. My name's Janine. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
All right, actually, we have to go to a break right now, Janine. So
I love you.
Great to see you. Thank you so much.
And your hair is so great. I'm loving what's happening with this hair tonight. I love it.
All right, I just got a haircut. How about that?
It looks good. It's Stafford.
There
I
we
knew
go.
something was going on.
All right, Janine Driver, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back.
Look at her, Janine Driver, over here flirting with our guy Vinny. Back it up, Janine. Body language expert. He must have been giving her all the signs. Those eyes are saying a lot, though. Those eyes are saying a lot. I had to get this big old book out because someone asked a question earlier and I wanted to make sure I had the answer right. I thought it was kind of interesting listening to the body language lady talk and her interpretation on, how Bryan was acting. Because I don't know. When I saw him in the body cam footage, the first time I saw him, I thought he was acting kind of like a dick. I'm not going to lie. But then the second time I watched, I was like, well, maybe he's not. Maybe he's just acting like a normal person. But he's just being kind of a little bit, of a headache. But now I don't even know. Now I've watched it 500 times. I've watched it too many. Let me turn my camera back on. But I think before maybe actually next week or maybe before Monday, we can go back through and listen to some of the, trying to think, the press conferences from when this first happened. I feel like if we go back and listen to them, maybe we'll hear things we just didn't pick up before. I know I will, because I think I've only listened to them once or twice. So, but yeah, keep my little doggy in your prayers tonight. Also, I was on my For You page like a second ago, like earlier in the live, and although we might not be best of friends, I don't know this person. He's just another creator. But I noticed that T-Rev had put on his post a couple of days ago that his dog is having really bad problems, like cancer. So if you could say, an extra prayer for his dog too, because I saw that and that like broke my heart. Because I'm a dog mom. I couldn't imagine having a physical human child, guys. I mean, she was, I could hear her paws. Because she dances. Because she's shorter than the other one. Like, my other dog is tall, so you could hear her, her paws are just different. And then this one, is, faster. So I say she dances. And I could hear her at the door, and Vincent was sleeping. I said, Vincent, what are you doing? He worked all week. He's tired. I said, she needs you. She was just looking at me. I think I'm the mom. Just like whenever you want your mom. Usually you want mom. Because moms know how to do, they just know what to do. I wish I had mine right now. I would be like, Mom. Oh, someone from COVID. Oh. Hey, Miss Renee. I'll take a ticket before I kiss the cop's ass. See, and this is probably my mindset. This is where my mindset is. And so my mindset isn't the best one to probably think of, to look at. I came from a town that the cops were just crappy. It was a crappy town. And so you always thought you were doing something wrong. Even if you weren't doing anything wrong. So I don't know, but for some reason, if we got pulled over, I never had that, the gall. I wish I did, to be I could only do that if I had a couple drinks in me. Then I would be tell the cop where to go. But other than that, I would be like, nope, what do you want me to do? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But that would be me. But then again, I don't know. When he says he's from Pennsylvania, maybe he's trying to talk his way out of it. I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to do. But I can't wait for Monday. I know it's not a preliminary where we're going to get, the evidence and all the stuff that we were really going to get in June. But it's sooner. I'm trying to make it seem better. It's really not, but your son has Cushing's disease? Tumors on his pituitary gland. Oh, you find strength you never know you had. Yep. But animals always feel more helpless because they can't talk to us. Yes. You're right. Humans are just crazy. The strength and the capability that one has in their self, they don't even know it until they need it. I can relate with that. Really? 3 pet friends? Oh my gosh. And my son are having stomach issues. Was there a recall? I don't know. So, Jo, my dog eats the dog food from Sam's Club, and we noticed that they did change the packaging since the last time we bought it. So I'm thinking maybe they changed up some sort of something the ingredient in the food, because we just bought it just the other day. And it looks like these little small rabbit little poops. We were laughing about it because we're this just looks a lot different than what they're used to. And I was like, oh, but I can get more in their bowls because they're big girls. So today we just went and got them new bowls. I'll have to show you their new dog bowls. Oh, they're so stinking cute. They look like pretty sink water bowls. I don't know. They're just so fancy. They're so fancy looking now. We never got them their own dog bowls when we got them. They were using they got their own water bowls, but we used from our old dog. We gave her her dog bowls. And Vincent didn't even know that until we were in the store tonight looking at dog bowls. I was like, these are Ella's that we have at home? He's like, no way. I'm like, yes way. So we got him all some new stuff. We got him some new toys. So I'm going to go give her a toy. I know she's not at the door now because I would hear her. So Vincent must have got up. I feel so bad for her. I'm one of those people that if something bad happens, like you guys are all like, most of you are moms and most of you are dads in here. And you know, when your kid needs you, like you automatically, I know you guys in here. For the most part, you know, I know you guys, I know you're not going to just turn away and run from your kid. Your instinct is to grab your child if something's wrong with your child. My instinct, I don't have that yet. So my instinct is still to run like hell, get the heck out of the, just get away from the bad situation. And so when I'm like here and I'm by myself and I'm like, there's no Vincent, because Vincent can fix anything, you know, like when you have someone with you that, you know, you have, if you're that blessed, I can look at him and he'll fix it. So when he's not here, so I was sending him pictures all week and he's like, I feel like I need to come home. And I was like, no, it's okay. And I had to clean the hallway. I had to clean the parking lot. She couldn't make it to the grass. And I'm taking her out like 20 times a day. So hopefully she'll do better tomorrow or the next day, you know, get some food in her belly. I've just never, like, we haven't went through this for a really long time. I'm not ready. I think she's only 8.5. She's so young. So her belly just needs to feel better. And then when I saw on T-Rev's channel, his dog has cancer. So, may feel so bad for him. So now I'm going to have to go and like cuddle up with my girl. The other one did this to me. The big one. The big one did that. He's a very good guy. He's a good guy. I can't say anything bad about him. I wish I kind of could, you know, bitch a little bit, but I can't. I can't say nothing bad about him. I really can't. You cook your dog's food and bake their biscuits. Man, we got new dog biscuits today too. Like we went back to their old brand and we did it all. Vincent was like putting greenies in the shopping cart. It was so funny. I was like, really? This too? There's a TikTok out right now. I don't know if you guys will be able to look it up, but it's like, I'm not ever on TikTok, but I think I was posting a video and I happened to see it. And it's this guy, and you guys will know this would be my favorite. It's a guy and his wife, and they're in Target. And their wife is like, she has the cart, and every time she like turns around, he throws something in the cart that he knows that she loves. Like the first thing is like a pillow. And she looks and she's like looks at him weird, you know, because women in Target, men don't normally throw the pillows in the cart. So she's looking at him like, what? And he's like, I love this one, don't you? And she's like, yeah. And like by the end of the TikTok, she's like, babe, what are you doing? Like he has like pillows in there and like a lamp, and her favorite drinks are in there. And it was just cute. You guys will have to look at it. You have to look for that. It was a cute TikTok, I thought. Because the guy, you know, he just gets her what she wants. And like he brings like these soap dispensers over and he's like, how about these for the bathroom, babe? And she's like, 3 of them? Because they must have 3 bathrooms. He's like, oh yeah. I loved it. What's wrong with Eddie? Nobody on here. Eddie, everyone blocked you. That's why. I'm just kidding. They did. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No one blocked you. That'd be funny though. No, I mean, it wouldn't be funny, but you know. Who was that I had to block? My eyes itching. Sorry, guys. That one, it wasn't Justice. It was someone in here. And I was like, at this point, we're just talking to each other. It was Carolyn. I think it was. One of them. I was just like, oh my gosh, because she had blocked everybody. So I was like, well, if you're just arguing with me at this point. Oh. Your dog's 10, has never eaten dog food, drives me crazy. That's funny. Is it French Bulldog? Because French Bulldogs are the rave right now. They're the #1 dog. They kicked the the Golden Retriever out of the top spot. You've never met anyone with the same birthday? My nephew's is August 12th. So close. I was like, wait, I never knew somebody. My nephew, he's August 12th. I'll be 10 this year. No one would ever block Ed. No, not him. It was someone else. Everybody kept getting blocked or Carolyn kept blocking everyone this one night when she was in here. She was just on one and she blocked everybody. So then I was like, well, I think she's only arguing with me at this point. Because I was the only one in the chat with her. Yeah. Yeah. And block him for 30 minutes, see what happens. He'll be like, where's Nightbot to save me? Where's he at? But I am going to jump off here. I'm going to go see what's going on in the other room. It seems like it's okay. My nose don't smell nothing. I don't hear anything. I kind of don't want to go. Really? Pumpkin with some chicken and rice? Thank you, CL. Maybe you guys will know this. I'm going to write that down. The girl's got enough rice to feed a damn army. I do. I've got bags and bags and bags. My boyfriend's mom sends it in the boxes of stuff. It's too much rice. It's certain rice. I don't know. I was going to say something, I can't remember. Clears it right up. Well, we're going to try that because can I give her Pepto-Bismol? That's what I was going to ask. Like, I know that there's some, like, you know, human medicines that you can give to dogs. I could look it up, but I didn't know if you guys knew in the chat. I know, like, you could give them Benadryl. I was trying to think of it, Benadryl. You were born July 4th? Aw. Works for both. Oh. Well, she has diarrhea, and it's bad. Yes, on the Pepto. I thought so. I wonder if we have any. I think I got some for Vincent. Or he got it. I got to give her something. She didn't even make it. We live on the upstairs, and she won't. I've never seen her go inside the house. Like, ever. Anytime she's ever had an accident inside, she will go straight hide and do it. She doesn't want to get yelled at. She was raised on the streets, or she lived on the streets for the first like 3.5 years of her life. So I think she's afraid to do anything bad because she thinks we'll just like get rid of her. Like, I don't know if that's what it is, but she really does act like that. So for her to not be able to make it down the stairs, she's only 8.5. She's pretty young still. Good diet and everything. But she didn't even make it like, so twice on my carpet out here, I washed it, cleaned it. Then on the, like, we live on the upstairs, so we have carpet. So in our hallway, so I'm out there with the bucket and the mop. I'm like, oh my Lord, have mercy. Then it was on the concrete. I'm like, someone just hooked me up to a hose at this point. And I'm taking her out like every like few minutes. So, and it just, I feel so bad for her. Applesauce is 100% safe, Nancy said. Couple of tablespoons. Canned pumpkin. Okay, you can get, I was going to say, how do I get the pumpkin? But there we go, 100% canned. We'll get this dog, her little butt will be good to go. It's funny because every morning Vincent takes them out to go to the bathroom and I always ask them if their butt feels better when they come in. And I can't ask her that right now because she's having probs. What color is it? It's light. And I'm glad you guys are all here to witness this with me. It's like a light color. Like really light. It's weird. And she's never had a problem. Like a bowel problem or nothing. She's not getting sick. She's not eating grass when she's outside. She's just trying to get it out. You know how dogs will run to go to the bathroom? She'll do that to try to get it like all out. And then she's good for a couple hours. Yeah, they don't make dog Imodium. So Patricia, BK was taking classes online only? Oh. So we're going to stream that Phantasmatic Ether tomorrow. So when in the beginning of the chat, I told everybody, but so what happened was I went back through because we did the Dateline 2020 and the 48 hours one on here. The Dateline's the one that got me. They got me. They struck me. It was the only time I've ever had a strike on my channel and only time I've ever been in trouble. Because you know me, I'll break the rules if I can. Just kidding, YouTube. Just kidding. I will if I can. You know, I will if I can. I'll bend them as much. But that's why I don't like to pause and stuff like a lot through the stuff because, you know, you guys can't see it. So I'm going to watch it tomorrow with you guys or tonight maybe, but it's on TV until 11. So Was there anything, did anyone find out anything that was so juicy? How many days? It's probably been like maybe 3 or 4 days she's had it. Hasn't been that long. 3 days? 2 days? 2 days? I think I'm making it longer. It's not been 4. It's probably been 2 or 3. It has new info on it tonight. Yeah, that's probably why you can't find it anywhere. Yeah, I wanted to freaking stream it so bad. I was literally had my whole live set up around it. And I didn't even know if it was an hour or 2 hour special. I was like, we just gonna go on with it. And then I had Vincent double check because I couldn't find the video, and I was like, ooh, that doesn't look good, because if you get a strike, they remove your video. And so you only get, if you get 3, game over, see you later. You don't, your channel gets taken away. But I mean, it's off now, so I don't have it anymore. That's how long we've been talking about Idaho 4. It takes 90 days to get a strike off of you, and I've already had it off because it's been 6 months. Oh, Peacock has it? Yeah, because that's a good idea. What are they? ABC, NBC? What? Because I have Spectrum. I know it's on demand tomorrow on Spectrum. Peacock maybe, yeah. Meloxicam for pain relief. Yeah, 2 days seems like 4. Because I'm thinking it's only been a couple. Because I'm thinking Vincent. Like, I'm thinking of, have I been doing this all? There's no way I've been doing this all week. I wrote him the first day. The first minute it happened, and I told him, I said, you better get these dogs a damn babysitter 1 day a week. And then I wrote him back a few minutes later, and I said, I'm just kidding. I was just venting, I'm sorry. And then it was like, I was really not kidding, I guess, because, That's what we're hearing, that he bought the knife at Amazon. I said it. I said that. Who was in the chat that night when I said you could buy the crap on Amazon? And there was someone in the chat was like, no, you can't. I forget it, but I remember they were like, there was somebody that was really bent up out of shape about it, because we even talked about seeing it I saw some like a replica of a knife that looks similar to it at Target, but it wasn't a K-bar, but it was a fixed blade knife. Huh. They have the receipt. We even looked on the K-bar website. What was that website we looked at? Because it was they had it in the probable cause, not probable cause, one of the search warrants or something. And we went through, and I had to go through, I think there was like 7,000 knives on this website to get the 3 pictures or 4 pictures of the K-bar, because they weren't in any particular order, but we found them. Found on Amazon. There we go. Now, if they say he came in through that front door, exited out that front door, I'm just going to go into law or be a detective. I did go to school for criminal justice, though. Amazon does sell everything. So does Walmart, I've noticed. Like, if I'll look something up, and it'll be like a brand that Walmart usually doesn't carry, like Louis Vuitton, let's say, which is, I don't look up Louis Vuitton because I ain't got money like that. But it'll be like on Walmart. I'm like, because it's independent like sellers. Oh, I don't know. Did he buy it a few years back? He might have. They're huge. Oh, Bon. Oh, Lord have mercy. I see her in another chat sometimes, and I'm just like, Lord have mercy. There, she's still going. And I saw Carolyn the other night talking about, I told the FBI that months ago. In another chat, I was just like, I'm done. I'm outie. I'm out. Like, it's just, sometimes it's just so fun. I don't know. My face is really red, though. I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, oh, I got burnt. They'd have them on surveillance going in the slider door, that you said? Ooh. Still on the front door. I don't know why. Sporting goods stores. Yeah, I think that we looked that up, Roger. I think it was like maybe Dick's or something. I have a Dick's that is by me. Maybe I saw it on Dick's online. but we couldn't find it in store. That's what it was, I think. He bought it right before he left PA. A man with a plan. A man with a plan. Wow. Arlene's going back and watching. We'll be on here for another 2 hours. Like, Arlene, what else? Wow. Well, you can touch the Wi-Fi, but you won't connect if you don't have like a password, I think, of some sort. I think that's what me and Vincent were talking about one day. Like it'll automatically connect you if you live back there, or it'll ask you. But I think it just automatically maybe connected on his because the cops were looking at it. Wow. Well, see because the cam that they have on that blue house is up high. I don't know how much it would see at that angle. But, you know. No one said that the back slider didn't lock. They said the front door didn't work on the last thing that we saw, the info. But I'll have to watch that Dateline for sure. Oh, what did Justin know? I missed it. Yeah, he must have had, it must have been a man with a plan before he left PA. I don't see why you get a knife to take it across country. I don't see that. I don't see why you would do that. There's no reason for that. And I don't care what anyone says. Well, people can have knives. Yeah, you can. My friend, he collects a lot of knives. They're like pocket knives and shit. He ain't buying no K-bar, fixed blade, traveling cross country with it. You just buy it when you get there. Why the hell are you traveling 20-some hundred miles with a fixed blade knife in your car? I don't care who you are. Handsome growler, that's what I said. No, I said, I hope they can get a refund or Dix takes tents back. That was funny coming in hot with that comment. That's why that's why I'm gonna fly out tomorrow, and I'm gonna be in there Monday morning right behind Brian Enton. Me and Brian, me, and then Nancy. I'm gonna beat Nancy, and then I'm gonna let her in front of me because she's gonna boss me. Just kidding. But wouldn't that be funny? I did ask Vincent. I said, how much would it cost to fly me out there for like a day? Speaking of which, flying out of places though, when the Delphi case happens out in Indiana, Richard Allen with Abby and Libby, I think I'm wanting to, and I just am deciding this, so don't put it in writing, don't put it in concrete. But it's like 3.5 hours from me, 4 hours, and I thought about maybe trying to go for the opening statements if they're letting the public in. So. Yeah, my friend, he collects knives and stuff, but I don't see him buying like a 1K bar and traveling across the country with it. I don't know, if it was a collection, it'd be like more than one, then that would make more sense. I don't know. Yeah, they usually go at JO. Yeah, they usually go in the front doors, and we actually heard that in like 4 different interviews now. Even if you think, okay, so let's say Dave. If we believe Dave, or if you believe him or if you don't, he said they went in the front door too. That's why I've been stuck on that front door though since November 20 something. I don't know. Really, I really have. I don't know. And I say it every time. I don't know why, but I'm stuck on that front door. Just the lighting, in my opinion, the windows placement, in my opinion, the stairs, in my opinion, but. He probably did go through the front. Maybe he did go in the back and went out the front door because the front door was left open too. So you never know. So no, so the investigators are, not Moscow investigators. They're on a gag order. So who's talking? What investigators are talking, Arlene? What's the proof? I didn't see the proof or facts. I'm trying to read. Yeah, it's like you can share your Wi-Fi. Yeah. So Jo, actually, other people came out and said that before him. And there's some. I have them actually right in my my bookmark list because of the fact that I just really wanted to know about that front door. And so there was a couple videos. One of them was the Dateline, and then there was another video with the two girls, and then I think there's actually 3 videos, and then a video with one girl in it. And they all say when they're asked how did they come into the house, like what door did they use the most, and they say the front door. And then the girls do say something about the front door being left open. The neighbor says the front door was open between 8:30, I believe, and 9, or 8 and 9 or whatever, 8:30. I don't know. And the damn trash, yep. I was wondering who, because I know it can't be they're under a gag order. It can't be people out in Moscow talking. I wonder if it's the investigators from Pennsylvania. That's why I'm asking, because the Pennsylvania ones can talk. Now I'm going to have to go out there and watch that. That's what I'm going to try to do tomorrow, Shauna Lee, is I'm going to try to stream it tomorrow. I couldn't stream it tonight or my channel would have got struck. If your channel gets struck, you can lose your channel. Or I would, because I'm totally down to stream some stuff. That's what my plan was tonight. Actually, so that's why I did the preview today. So when I did that Dateline preview, there's a preview. I did that to see if it would come back and copyright me, because it'll automatically copyright if there's anything wrong normally. And nothing happened. Nothing happened. I have to see Nancy. I'm not sure. I have to see when it's uploaded up to YouTube, and then I'll have to stream it then. But so that's what I was saying. I was like, because the people that don't live in the United States, they can't get like Dateline in 48 hours in 2020, because we've streamed them all. But Dateline got me last time. They got me hard. And it was a couple days after too, I think. It was that night, but I didn't think I was in any trouble until a couple days after. And I was like, not to be confused with a copyright claim. No, this was a strike. This was a strike. This was not a copyright. No. If this was just a copyright, we'd be cruising on through right now. If I could demonetize and we'd be watching it, I would demonetize and we'd watch it. Because I know you guys have my back. I literally would get the subscribers you know what I mean? Like we would make it up as subscribers or likes or chats, What? Cat's life? If JB Gunner confirms Dave is real, is it fact? Not to me. No. I can't do JB Gunner though. His voice is too raspy. I don't know. I can't listen. I like his personality, but his voice is too raspy. Like I don't know. I can't watch. I can't really watch his channel. It's too raspy. But I sounded like him a little bit, didn't I? I don't want to make fun of him though. But he sounds. He looks like a guy that knows his shit. But you got to think about it this way. Let me see here. JB Gunner. I know he's not. Okay. Me and him, I'm literally a little ahead of him in the terms of subscriber count. So you got to think about it as if you were a creator would you believe it? That's how I think of it. Like if I were a creator, would I put them on my panel? Would I vet him? Would I say, yep? No. But JB also just had, guess who on his panel? Drunk Turkey. So, and they all work together. There's certain channels that you'll see them, they'll get to a certain point and they'll start like going into other people's chats and they'll say, hey, or hi, or like the video, or subscribe to their channel. And then they're like, oh, that person's being nice to me. I'm going to give them a shout out. But overall, TitaniumBuilt, not that I don't like people, because I love everybody. And I love to have people on panel. Never would not want someone to, want to come on the channel. But I'm a one-person show right now. Just for right now. You got to hear the church bells ring 105 times? My gosh, I bet that was pretty, but I bet that was impactful. So Nancy, I don't think that he's covering it. I think that I don't know what's going on. Because he came out to Drunk Turkey, and then all of a sudden he's on Lana's show. So then Drunk Turkey said it's because he was trying to vet him, which is fine. That's good. But then Monday, he said he was going to talk to him again on Wednesday night, and then Wednesday night came, and then on Wednesday night's show, he said he accidentally put the wrong thumbnail up. But he had told us on Monday that he was going to have him on Wednesday. So then I get confused, because I know what I hear. Yeah, if Dave wants to come on here, then that would prove me wrong. You know what I mean? That would, because I would be like, holy crap, he's a real person. Now I can actually say he's a person. He'd have to lose the voice box, but which if you guys didn't see the members post, I said we're going to start. Yeah, his mom is, yeah. That's Vincent's new name, Cave. He did have his baby. He did have his baby. Yep. He didn't have it. She had the baby, but yeah, she had the baby. And I think that's just really nice for him. He needs to take some time off for his baby and love on that baby. But it's so cute. You can only imagine those little aviators. Little Drunk Turkey hat and aviators. And I don't care who you are. I will say the guy Blue on Drunk Turkey show, he makes the YouTube streets all right. He really does. You can't hate on that guy. He's just so sweet. He's just so nice. Yeah, a little girl. Yeah, he had a little girl. She had a little girl. Well, I guess he did too, but And I think that maybe that's why Drunk Turkey's kind of pulling back on the Dave thing, because he did kind of pull back. Like, he was in it. Like, I don't know, something's weird there. And I'm not saying that Dave's like a fake person or, I don't know him. I don't know. I just know it's a guy. But, that's on the internet. That says he's a University of Idaho student. Could definitely be a University of Idaho student. But he does say this. He says he has not been in that house since they have gotten that dog. So that means he has not been in that house for 11 months. So just take it with a grain of salt. 11 months. Murphy's birthday's December. So I wish he would take his glasses off. I want to see what he looks like, Elisa. Drunk Turkey. I want to see what he looks like, his eyes look like. Now it's like a bet with myself. I'm like, now how am I going to do it? I know, isn't that nice? Yeah. I think that's his first baby too. Seems like it. The real Edward. Will the real Edward still please stand up? I said I was going to get off here like half hour ago. Then we just start talking some more. But we've been looking at Vinny. Look at him. He's just looking away from us. Vinny said he's done with us tonight. That lady said she liked his hair. Okay, well, I'm going to jump off of here. He said he would then he hit 50K. Oh. Oh, he has other kids. Oh, I didn't know if he did or not. So maybe that's why he's okay. I mean, I'm not saying this isn't right, but I mean, I'm just, because like he's back like on YouTube so fast, and like, I mean, I don't know. And I'm not here to judge at all. I'm not at all. Because I'm telling you guys right here and now, if you go back to my videos 3 or 4 months ago when I had my eye surgery, and I know childbirth ain't nothing like having an eye surgery or face surgery. But what I'm just getting to is I had full-blown surgery and was doing a live like that night. Like with my eye patch on, was ready to like, so for him to be like, I don't know, I've heard other creators go like, he should be with his kid, he should be doing this, he should be doing that. He's been online. I think I would be too, but I can understand if he takes some time off. Take your 6-week sabbatical, dude. It's the only time that your subscribers will be like cool with you leaving for a while, you know? But if it was me, I would have a baby and I'd probably be here 2 days, a day later. That would be me. That's just, I think of work like a lot. Dave didn't bring anything to the table. Other than when he went on TNT and he said that Xana sold him drugs. But then he goes on Drunk Turkey and there's no talk of that. Yeah, so like the Dave is the fake name. But I just don't know. Yeah. I am a beast. But I mean, I'm saying the childbirth, I've never done that before. They just take this thing out. They work their magic, put it back in. But I was like, man, I was filming like it was going out of style. I might put the eye patch back on just for fun. I got a lot of views, I noticed. If you see me in the YouTube shorts rocking an eye patch, just pretend like it's an old one. Old video. You're a big baby when it comes to pain. Would you say that YouTube has turned into a social experiment? Somewhat, yeah. Yeah. I'm on YouTube more than I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok combined. Yeah. Yeah, he did say that, but he didn't say like, when he was on TNT, he was like, Xana sold us drugs and I did drugs with 2 of the girls in the house. He said he didn't really know Kaylee or Ethan, so it would have had to been Maddie and Xana, the way that it all played out. I had like 4 pages of notes or something on what he said. Because like the 2 differences were the 2 interviews were very different to me in the way that they were held. TNT's was held one way, no offense to her, but to me, Drunk Turkey, Daniel did a really good job with the interview. Whether you believe Dave or not, I think he did a good job how he talked about and brought things up and didn't pressure people to talk. Just the way, I don't know, I liked the way he handled it. It wasn't like, I wasn't wanting, to have my eyes or ears out with anything. It was fine, It was a nice interview. It flowed well. But I don't know. But I think that YouTube's always been, it's always like this with every big case. It'll be like this. I mean, it's been like this since I've been here for 6 months. So what's going to happen in the next, so this is my prediction. In the next 6 months, or no, not 6, the next 4 months, 3 months, through summer, till August, September, till September, October. End of September, early October. I have a feeling that the true crime community on YouTube we're not going to see as many people in our lives and in the, like, and from my instance, like, video views, because we're going to go to the court, we're going to have court on Monday. They're probably going to throw it out for a while, like push it out for a while. Summer's coming. In my mind, I can see you all, like a lot of people having kids, vacations, cruises, lives that you maybe don't want to like be involved into a case. I'm trying to put that into good words, but it's not coming out that well. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it might, don't leave me, y'all. That's what I'm saying. Don't leave me. But I think it will. I think that the people that are here for the heart of the case, like a lot of you guys are, you'll still be here. We'll still be kicking it. We still be kicking it. Because like I said, we've got plenty more cases. Crime doesn't stop just because it's summer, but But we may have some more outside lives. Might have to give me an outdoor mic. But I'm going to jump off of here. Don't you ever leave. Yeah, see, ride or die, Summer said. She knows what's up. But I love you guys so much, and I will, us junkies will still be around. First, I had to laugh about that. That was funny. That's good to know. That's good to know, because I'm still going to be here too. I haven't left, so, and I know I don't plan on it. I love doing this, and this is fun for me. Not fun for me, but it's enlightening for me. It helps my brain work, gets me socialized with you guys. And we do bring awareness to cases. This case doesn't need any more awareness, obviously, because it's such a big case, but we do have other cases out there that we do bring, awareness to. So, and if there weren't people out here like us that were talking about this case, News Nation, Courttv, they're the only ones that are really, outside that are really handling it. So I'm thinking about that one, Elle Beam. I can't remember her name, but I'm thinking about it. Yeah, the girl that wrote the book on how to cope with grief. Yeah, I could do that one. We have nothing but time, but I have some we can look into. So, oh, well, good, Steve. I'm glad that you like it here. We do keep it honest. We really do. We try to stick to the truths. And I mean, if we speculate, it's never something where it's going to be harmful. You know what I mean? Like me saying, like him coming in the front door. Or him coming in the back door. I don't think that is going to make or break the case, but going around when you have a huge platform and saying that one of the people inside the home that's no longer here to defend themselves did something that we have no factual basis on. Now that's pretty shitty to me. So, but I love you guys, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.